Hi, this is Lynn from Kathy Quilts, and this is part 2 of Little Leaves. We are really excited with the way this one turned out. I know it's a long video, but it has a lot in it, and so we're really excited to share this with you and hope that you enjoy it. Please leave comments below. Let us know what you think and tell us ways that we can improve, because we really just want to help you to be able to become a better quilter. And there's so many things that we have to share, and if we know exactly what you want, then we can shoot those videos for you. So please let us know. So let's get into the video.
See, I don't go all the way to the end.
Okay.
I know that by the end of my quilt, it's going to be up here because there's going to be extra fabric taking up this much. So I'm going to start out with it here because I don't want it to run over at the very end. So I'm going to say that's my bottom end, about an inch away from the
So that way you actually use your safe zone to help you.
Yes. So now I'm going to say, I know my quilt's 48 by 48. Oh, you know what? I want to oil this. Ew.
Lint is not your friend.
Attention, except right here. Just want to get the oil off. See, the first of it's changed, but it should be okay now.
Cool.
Okay. Can I do a pentagon? Let's go up to here.
And then you're gonna
I'm gonna go up about an inch because this is gonna take up with a rolled up quilt eventually before I get to the end. Yeah, my quilt is 48 by 48. Okay, now I want a pattern. I think I want this one. And I know this is autumn leaves, but I don't want autumn leaves. I don't want it that tight. Maybe 8 inches. That's how close it's going to be. That's going to be really small little bubbles. I don't know if I want that small of bubbles.
So how do you just keep on changing the...
Till I want it.
So it's not quite so tight.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is going to be 100%. That's going to be full size. So my bubbles are going to be a little bit bigger than they were. See, it makes it look wider than longer, but it's really not. So I'm going to sew it in zones. I don't want to save it. I already... Oh, but I didn't take a picture of that. So...
But it's so small that maybe it won't be a big deal.
I'll finish it quick. I'll remember it's 10. I'm just going to show you. I never need to open this, but I'm going to show how this stitches out. Okay. So for the first pass, it's going to be that one. So it looks like we're going to have 5 zones on this. And so, because I've made the pattern so large, and you can almost see the little square, but when it's quilted out, you don't see that square. In fact, if you wanted to, if that looked too weird to you, you can see what it would be like if you spaced them out a little bit. I am not going to space it out, but see if you spaced it out a little bit, you can see a little space in between, but I want my little circles to touch when I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna go with it like that. I'm gonna take a picture of it so I remember what I did. And then,
and so that way you save all your settings, and you don't have to save it in the Zone
So if
Manager.
I only get half done and I have to finish the rest tomorrow, I have no problem with starting up the computer again and doing it exactly like I had it. So I don't save that. I save it sometimes, and then I had so many in there saved, I just didn't want it. Now, this is the part. I'm going to go in here to plugins. I'm going to use this marking tool. So
you use that pretty much on every quilt.
I use it on any quilt that I'm going to use QuiltMotion on. So I'm going to mark it there. I'll go part way up, just in case I pinned it on ski-wompish or something. Gonna go there, I'm gonna mark it in the middle.
And basically,
I just hover the needle over the edge of the quilt.
And you just keep on hitting that plus sign to add.
Okay. Now you can see that design is not going to be centered in there. I can say, okay. You can see that design is not centered in there. I'm going to go up here to the top of my quilt, and I'm going to center that. Okay, you can see it. It goes right in there.
It's perfect.
And another way you can do that
is the placing.
Yes, you can go in here and do, well, one thing I'm going to do is I know there's a thread jump right there. I'm going to say I want to optimize that and get rid of that. It's going to go here and jump to here and start again, and I just don't want to do that. I'd rather have it take a straight line. So I took away all the lines.
So you
and
did
I
remove
say,
all.
okay.
Okay.
And now that little blue line will be gone. So one other way you could do this is over here. And if I would have gone to the last frame, it would have been there in the window. So all this does is I can show it. And this is, maybe I didn't put the pin right smack in the center of the quilt. I'm going to show it's there. I'm going to show it's there. And it's going to tell me where the middle is. So it's going to move on its own. It's going to find the middle of my actual quilt. And it might be a little bit different from where I marked my center.
Magic of QuiltMotion.
And so if you look where it's at, it's pretty much the center of where I said it was going to be.
And that's your mark?
Yeah. If
on your meter? Cool.
So I can go in and I can go back and I've placed it. I'm going to move this. I can see that it's going to start right there in the corner. So I'm not even going to pull the bobbin on this. I'm pulling the bobbin myself rather than having the machine do it. I'm just going to push so. I'm holding on to those tails. It's going to take 3 or 4 locking stitches. Now it's going to be on its way. So what this is doing is, this first little bit was actually the very end of the last row. So it's going to go all the way over, and then it's going to come back and fill its quilt.
And you didn't have to figure that out. It just did it all on its own.
It on its own.
Nice. Kathy can work on other stuff while her QuiltMotion is going, and she can just keep coming back and checking on it. So one thing that happens when you run out of bobbin is how to repair it. We did that in the other one, but maybe on this video we'll be a little, show exactly how to repair it if you run out of bobbin. So by doing it that way, you don't have to have
So I can see
as
it's not
much,
gonna come down this
you don't
far.
have to have as much backing and waste, extra backing that would just be thrown away. And so that's really helpful when you see the progress of it. Especially when your thread is
Blends in too well.
in so much, you can't really see it.
It's so fun to watch this one fill all those little bubbles. See, this is where it would catch on the edge if I didn't stitch it down.
Exactly.
After it gets this part done, then I'll put the other
And
bungee back on.
for people that don't know, that is a ruler foot that you have on there, and you just always leave that on.
I do because I do so much ruler work. I'm not going to take it off.
And so you just have to wait for it to come back to do those bubbles before you put the bungee clamp back on.
Yeah, I want to. So clever.
Awesome. So you can see that's about 8 inches tall. And so that's what it's stitching. So this is 10 inches. So maybe 10 inches on this. So nice to have a 21-inch throat machine.
I ordered 4 last time.
Just keep track of all the colors so you know what you have to order as you run out. So if you have this on the fast speed, you can see that it goes through that design really fast. And there's nothing to be afraid of. It's made to do this. So just go right ahead and get your quilt done. So this shows the percentage of how close it is to being done. Really handy if you have to go off and work on something else while it's going. This is really cool how it goes over there and then it comes back and fills it in.
Finished. Have you completed sewing this zone? Yes.
So it's going over to the
marking spot. Okay. I'm gonna tape this down. Take a single stitch. Now it's done. I can say continue. Are you sure the markers have been properly placed? Yes. It will now move to the next position. And going to circle that so that I can see that that's going to stay on there. I'm going to loosen my bungees. Okay, that's just approximately where it goes. I'm going to tighten my back. I'm going to make sure my batting. Make sure you feel it to make sure none of your batting is tipped over or folded over.
Lumpy.
Lock the top in place. Okay, is it in that spot? Yes, it's in that general area. Okay, now it's going to go to zone 2. It's way over there. But I am going to stitch down my sides. So I'm going to release the sewing machine for a minute. Don't touch the OK until you're all done.
So just doing a serpentine motion just seems to work better for you.
I do a straight stitch sometimes, but then sometimes when it goes off the edge, it might fold that fabric back down. And I missed a spot right here again. Cut those threads. Okay, now I'm ready to position that second row. Remember, there's going to be 5 zones in this. Now, this is too tight, so already I need to raise my quilt back. I can't even get my fingers in between there, so you can do that side.
Okay.
Find that little, and then hover it right over where I took that one stitch, push the button there.
And that places zone 2.
Now see, my pencil's just barely on the outside of my quilt. That's just perfect.
Perfect.
This time, I'm going to pull the bobbin, hold that top thread, gives me enough time to pull that thread up. Okay, that's where it's going to start. Say so. Hold them tight. This is an interlocking, and it will fall into place with the ones from the previous row.
But it does the interlocking all for you. You don't have to worry about shifting it.
Barely touching the row on top of it, so you can't even tell where the break was.
That's awesome.
Because it's fabric and it's pliable, sometimes it'll stitch on top of that row above it, but it's lining up perfectly so far. See, it still hasn't come over and filled this in yet. I'm gonna show the last. You're gonna film this. Okay. I'm placing the last row. This doesn't stick anymore. Okay. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. That's right. I'm not going to roll it.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to roll it a little bit.
Ah, smart.
I want it to go into that zone.
So you're in zone 5 now.
But I've marked it. I have my marking. I'm going to
Go into the toolbox.
release the sewing machine. So what happens is I need to stitch down this last row and see how close I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll it just a little bit. I'm going to stitch this last little bit down.
Okay. And that's why those corsage pins are so nice.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the edge of this.
Okay.
I'm going to go to this marking tool. I'm just going to get rid of all of them.
So you did erase all?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go from there down to here. Oh, looks like I need to roll it just a little bit. It's going to be out of my safe zone, it looks like. So I'm going to go up. Okay. I'm going to remove all of those again. I'm going to go from the top to there. Now, I'm going to come and see the mark that I did.
Right.
I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to place that. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of hangs over that side a little bit.
That's all right, though, because what's happened is, see, normally it would be right here, but it's shifted a little bit. So in order to line up the bubbles, it has to shift. But it's still going to all be in the place. I want to get rid of the
So
jump
even
stitch right there.
yeah, so even though it shows it out of your safe zone, you can still stitch there.
This is what's going to happen. It will cut off.
Oh yeah.
So the design really goes down to here. But since the quilt either shrunk a little bit or I didn't measure right or something, there's going to be about 2 inches of it I don't have to stitch because it just won't stitch that far.
It just cuts it
will
off.
overhang it about a quarter inch on here. There's 2 things I could do. If I didn't have just this much left, I'd cut the batting off right there.
Right.
Set that batting aside, and then it will just stitch over onto this little piece. So maybe that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Okay, let me make sure this is going to be, and this, it's going to overhang just a tiny bit. If I wanted to, I could roll that quilt down and it would go even less. So if I wanted to, I'll just show you. If I wanted to roll it down one and go like this, I can go back here and I can remark it again.
Oh, okay.
So I can go like this. You can mark as many times as you want.
Just better safe than sorry. Make sure it fits.
Now you can see that, you can see my leaders or something, I can see my quilts just curved just a tiny bit in the quilting on that bottom edge. Now I'm going to reset that design again, say okay, but I've moved it a little bit, so I've got to reset it again. And so now there's about this much that won't stitch and doesn't need to stitch.
Cool.
So rather than have this be way up here and have it stitch over into my quilt backing and my batting and everything, I kept it rolled down here and everything is going off of this mark.
Awesome.
So I'm going to pull the bobbin.
So how did you know where to start over here?
I don't.
Oh, it's going to do it itself. Okay.
I don't know where it's going to start. It's there, that's that green mark. It's not going to pull up because it took 2 stitches for some reason. We'll redo that.
Okay.
Okay, there it is.
Awesome.
Now I can just do so. Holding onto those tight. Whenever it says that, I look and I make sure the needle is actually up if it says it's not up. Okay, it took my locking stitches. That's about how much my quilt shifted, was about 1/4 inch overall. The design would normally go all the way over and then come back with about 2 inches of design like it did on the top part.
Cuts it right off.
And so it's just cutting it right off, almost exactly where I want it to be.
That is so cool. Using the border of the safe zone to
to stop it from stitching that area.
And you did that by mistake one time, and that's how you learned how to do it. That's so cool.
It's better than trying to stop the stitching and wasting fabric. So.
Oh yeah. Here you can see some of the quilting on this a little bit better. Really a cute quilt, and Kathy just really loves the way it turned out. So I hope you did too. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. It was really awesome working with Kathy and her showing me this stuff, and I've learned so much, and I hope you have too. Please like and subscribe and share, and let other people know about our channel. And if you have questions, please leave the comments below, and we're looking forward to answering any questions that you might have. Thanks for watching.